Good morning and welcome to the Winter 2019 Commencement. Please be seated. First, some matters of order. In light of the occasion, please make sure that all cell phones are turned off. And please note, for your safety, look for the nearest exit. In case of emergency, walk, do not run to any of the exits. And if you are taking photographs in today's events, please do not stand in the aisles. We request that you remain in your seats for the duration of the ceremony. And at this time, I would like to invite Professor Sean Perry-Giles, Chair of the Department of Communication at the University of Maryland, to officially open the Department of Communication Winter 2009 Commencement. Professor Perry-Giles.
Good morning. I'm pleased to welcome you to the 2019 commencement ceremonies here at the Department of Communication at the University of Maryland. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's very early and we appreciate you getting up and being here. This is a very important day for you as graduates and your family and friends who've supported you along the way. This is an important moment that you'll remember for the rest of your lives, so congratulations to all of the graduates. We hope that you will savor this moment. Our department's guiding principle is communication for the public good. The principle is particularly important because communication can be used to promote the public good, but it also can be used too often to divide, demean, and disrespect. This year's first book was entitled Demagoguery and Democracy by Dr. Patricia Roberts Miller, and many of our first-year students read it, but also many of you have read it as well. Dr. Roberts Miller's basic premise is that too often we contribute to a culture of demagoguery by promoting an us versus them mentality and treating people that we disagree with as if they are evil. Dr. Roberts Miller concludes that demagoguery wins out when it becomes the normal way of participating in public life. As communication graduates, you've studied patterns of words that hurt and dehumanize others, but you've also studied models of communication that are designed instead to uplift, to promote humanity and build relationships in the service of the public good. And you've also learned how to resolve conflict. So when you take your new positions as communication specialists in the companies and governments and NGOs, in the courtroom and social media, in public relations firms, and health media and political campaigns, you will be faced with difficult choices. You'll have a choice to use communication for ethical and unethical ends. We hope that as you leave here today and as you graduate, you will commit to using communication to promote the public good over forms of communication that hurts, humiliates, and misleads others. We hope that you will remember the values that we as faculty and staff aspire to live by in our department, and we aspire to model in our work together and in our classes with you. Our core values as defined in our strategic plan include empathy and reasoning, which values listening and justice, diversity and inclusion, which values equity and respect for one another, ethics and integrity, which values rights, responsibilities, and principled leadership. It will be far too easy to default to a rhetoric of demagoguery. It will be easy to default to a communication that demeans, disparages, and disrespects those you know and those you don't know and those you know all too well. Such negative communication patterns are hard to break, but you can break them, and you have been equipped with the knowledge and the practice to break them. As a reminder of these principles and values, as you graduate today, we're going to give you a bookmark, a COM at UMD bookmark. We want you to take this bookmark, take it to your first job, take it to your second job, keep it visible, and study it from time to time. When you find yourself going down the wrong path and using your words to wound colleagues or people that you disagree with, you can back that up. You can choose your words that will contribute to your community's health, your workplace health, and your own health and well-being. As communication specialists, your colleagues, your clients, and your students are going to look to you to promote ethical communication practices. Aspire to be the change that you wish to see in the world. And let the bookmark also be a reminder that you are now joining the ranks of our alums that have been graduating from our department since 1901, a communication legacy that spans 118 years. We are now TERP strong and COM strong, growing in numbers and impact on our campus and our communities at the local, national, and global levels. Our alums have put such norms and values into practice across a diversity of careers and across a diversity of decades. Last year, we were in the top 5 majors to graduate on in May of 2018. Students are drawn to communication, like many of you, because we offer specializations in health and communication science, public relations, and rhetoric and political culture. Our PhD alums are teaching in universities from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the University of North Carolina to Penn State, James Madison University, the University of Oklahoma, and across the California State University system. We have alums who've served as speechwriters for presidential nominees, congressional leaders, and cabinet officials. Our students work in some of the most successful public relations firms in the United States, and they work in nonprofit settings that are supporting some of the most vulnerable members of our communities. Our recent undergraduate alums are working in such positions as with the USDA, on Capitol Hill, Walt Disney Resorts, NBC Universal, Fox Sports, Lionsgate, and Gray Healthcare, just to name a few. And our alums are giving back to our department in a diversity of ways, and we invite you to do the same by helping us mentor and coming back to campus and helping us mentor the next generation of communication graduates. Importantly, 98% of our students report, who fill out the survey, they report that they have a job in a communication-related field within 6 months after graduation. So that's great news for you, great news for your friend and your family. We hope that you will stay in touch with us through Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you flip over the bookmark, it's going to have the addresses of all. We hope that you connect. These connections allow us to stay in touch with you and you to stay in touch with one another, building a community of COM alums that honors that 118-year legacy. Our faculty and staff are integral to deepening that 118-year tradition of communication at the University of Maryland. In the past few years alone, our faculty have published over 150 journal articles, 30 books, and we have brought in millions of dollars to support the research and teaching mission here at the University of Maryland. Today is a very proud day for us and a day of celebration with you. I'm now most pleased to introduce my colleagues who are with me on the stage. Let's applaud once everyone has been introduced. Dr. Lindsay Anderson, Ms. Julie Gowan, Dr. Dale Hample, Dr. Ji-Yoon Kim, Dr. Sun Lee, Dr. Brooke Liu, Dr. Christy Maddox, Dr. Kong Namkoon, Dr. Shali Nan, Dr. Adam Nixon, Dr. Damon Pfister, Dr. Anita Atwell-Seat, Dr. Eric Sommerfeld, Dr. Catherine Knight-Steele, Dr. Elizabeth Toth, Dr. Leah Wax, Dr. Andrew Woven, and Dr. Carly Woods. I would also like to recognize our commencement speaker, Dr. Tiffany Boykin, who's with us today. She's a COM alum, so we're thrilled to have her back with us. I will give her a proper introduction in a few moments. First, though, I'd like to invite Miranda Morris to the stage. Miranda will deliver our student commencement address. Miranda, if you'd like to come forward. Miranda Morris is earning a dual degree in history and communication with a minor in Spanish literature, linguistics, and cultures. You can come on up. She's an alumna of the Undergraduate Technology Apprentice Program as well as the Art Scholars Program, where she served as a teaching assistant. Miranda spent 2 years serving as Vice President of Communications for the Alpha, Lambda, Delta, and Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society. She spent a lot of time in the Writing Center tutoring students in writing, and also working backstage here at the Clarice Smith Center in the Production Management Department. This past semester, she interned with Wolf Trap and the Foundation for Performing Arts. Please help me in welcoming Amanda to the podium.
My name's Miranda Morris, and I am truly exhilarated to be standing here with you all today. I want to start by thanking all the family, friends, professors, and mentors who have guided us and supported us to this moment. I also want to take the time to thank all of you, my fellow classmates and communication graduates, for constantly inspiring me and one another throughout our journey at the University of Maryland. We've done a lot to get here today, between the countless hours we've had to study at McKeldin Library, to the traffic we had to fight on Campus Drive, to quite literally get here today. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty tired. But regardless, I am absolutely thrilled to be standing here because, to be honest, I never thought I'd end up celebrating a degree in communication. Nevertheless, here I stand, a proud communication graduate. So as a young freshman many moons ago, I thought that communication was only meant for the ultra-bubbly extroverts in this world. And I consider myself as an extroverted introvert, meaning that my life is split between the desire to go out with friends on any given night or face plants in my bed after a long day of classes and work. To be successful in the field of communication, I had incorrectly thought that you need to be a human energizer bunny. And try as I might, in my heart of hearts, that's just not who I am. So initially, I never saw myself pursuing the major. Also, at first, communication seemed to me, and likely to many others as well, so self-explanatory that at first I wondered how academics could just have so much to say about it. Because I mean, what is communication? Responding to the group me? Isn't that communication? Calling your mom back? Waving? I mean, isn't it that simple? Spoiler alert, no. In his Netflix special, comedian John Mulaney, who visited Maryland just this past October for homecoming, he pokes fun at people who major in languages that they already speak. So with Mulaney's logic, what's even the point of studying a fundamental skill that you are required to have, whether or not you pay tuition for it? But you know what? As much as I love his stand-up, Mulaney is wrong. We called for a fact check, and he is not right. Communication is not just about speech giving and outward smiles. The field requires constant critical thinking and nuance. And I am proud today to stand with my fellow communication graduates and celebrate this vast, unique, and diverse field. Collaborating and listening to others gives us more power and drive than anything else. Communication is connection. It's clarity in a world filled with chaos, and it allows us to navigate a million different voices and opinions, trying to get in the way of what's truly important. So what should we be communicating? Well, one small social contribution we can make in this very busy world is to communicate our warmth, expressing our openness to new ideas, new people, places, and experiences will enrich our understanding of each other in the technologically rich world in which we live, building a more inclusive community. So let's hold the door for the person behind us. Try the free salsa class. Strike up a conversation with the person who has a million vinyl stickers decorating their hydro flask. Whatever it may be, our time and attention are powerful, so let's use them to forge new connections with new people. Also, as communication scholars and practitioners, we can communicate our commitments, showing our dedication and passion for our goals and objectives. As Terps, we have a duty to demonstrate our willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty. And I don't just mean to keep burning the midnight oil when I say above and beyond the call of duty. Rather, more than anything else, just persist. Let's show up, read the mission statement, and our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to be fully present. Finally, let's communicate our accomplishments. Now, as communication graduates skilled in public relations, social advocacy, and political rhetoric, the task of emphasizing success doesn't bear too much repeating. However, I think it is worth stressing the importance of appreciating and sharing our work. So if you volunteered with an amazing organization for a semester, share your experience and encourage others to sign up. If you spent the entire semester poring over a thesis, send it out to all your friends and make them read it. If you made Dean's List, low-key flex and post about it. Or write a whole song spelling out the wonders that you achieved while holding a full course load in an unpaid internship. Overall, it's critical that we don't shy away from all that we've done to make it to this point, because we've done a lot. So let's be fearless and take pride in what we've accomplished. As of today, we are graduates of the University of Maryland Department of Communication, no small feats. And while the future may not be certain, we will always have something to offer to the world. Now especially, it's time to celebrate our stories and our accomplishments. So thank you, and once again, congratulations to the class of 2019.
Thank you so much, Miranda. We wish you well and all that your future holds for you. I also want to take a brief moment to recognize Bita Riazi. If you want to stand, Bita was the commencement speaker last night for the university ceremonies. And at least as far as most of us can remember that, we've not had a communications student serve in that role. So congratulations. Thank you for representing us so well. I'm now very pleased to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Tiffany Boykin, who we're thrilled to have back on campus because, again, she's an alum of our program. She's someone who's promoted the public good throughout her career in a diversity of contexts. Dr. Boykin is the Dean of Student Engagement at Anne Arundel Community College. In that role, she serves leadership and strategic direction for programs and activities that support student belonging, development, and wellness. She also is an adjunct professor in the Department of Advanced Studies, Leadership and Policy at Morgan State University, where she primarily instructs courses in research methods and statistics, student development, and the legal aspects of higher education. Dr. Boykin's research interests have focused on access, participation, and outcomes for racially minoritized students in college settings, as well as institutional compliance and operations. She's a noted author and presenter, and she has numerous publications and proceedings. To her credit, she's been recognized by the American Education Research Association for her efforts in producing scholarship which advances multicultural and multi-ethnic education. She was recently named by the Daily Record as the 2019 VIP list for outstanding professional accomplishments, civic involvement, and overall general achievements. Dr. Boykin is also founder and principal attorney for Boykin Legal Solutions, a client-centered law practice that focuses on family law and immigration. She's earned her bachelor's degree here at the University of Maryland in the Department of Communication. She's also a Master of Science in Communication Management at Towson University, a doctorate in higher education from Morgan State University, and a Juris Doctorate from the University of Baltimore School of Law. So she has a doctorate, a law degree, a master's degree, and a Bachelor of Arts degree. We're so thrilled to have her back on campus. Well, help me in welcoming her to the podium.
Dr. Perry Giles, thank you so much for that kind introduction. Greetings, distinguished faculty, administrators, family, friends, guests, and most importantly, the class of 2019. Let me begin by celebrating and congratulating you. Soon, you will join the ranks of the most incredible, thought-provoking, successful people in the world. You guessed it, University of Maryland, Department of Communication alumni. Go Terps. I want to extend a sincere thank you to Dr. Perry Giles and Dr. Wax for inviting me to speak to you all today. You continue to do amazing work in the Department of Communication, and I also want to extend a special thank you to all of the faculty, staff, and others that have worked so hard to make this day possible. It is an absolute honor to stand before you today. I'm truly humbled at this opportunity to share in this incredible milestone with you. It wasn't that long ago, actually it was long ago, but I don't want to date myself, that I too sat in your very place. Having fondly remembered this moment, I know that there are three things everyone wants from their commencement speaker. Number one is to be short or brief. Number 2, to share at least 1 or 2 pieces of usable advice. And number 3, to be brief. So I'm going to make sure that I deliver on at least 2 of those important points today, because the least I can do is respect your time. And that actually brings me to what I want to talk to you about today, and it's the concept of time. Everyone here has it. Some of us older folk may wish we had more of it. There are some young people here that have a wealth of it. And then there's you, the class of 2019, the people of the moment that have put in the time to be honored today. So whether it took you 4 years, some of you may be a little less, some of you may be a little more, some of you may be even more. Congratulations, you have something spectacular to show for your time. I believe that time is relative. For instance, it can go very quickly, like the speed in which you completed your last exam. Or it can be grueling and slow, like how long that very same exam may take you when you don't know the answers, because perhaps you weren't prepared, because perhaps you decided to go to a party on Knox Road or something of that nature, but I know that that didn't happen to any of these fine graduates today. Time is also relative for your family and friends. In fact, let's take a moment to acknowledge your support systems. Let's give your family and friends an applause. I feel like in this moment, many of your loved ones are thinking, wow, I just dropped my college freshman off yesterday, and here we are today, and that freshman is now a college graduate. How did we get here? Honestly, no one makes time more relative than your loved ones. Some of them are going to congratulate you on your journey and tell you that you have plenty of time to decide and figure out what's next. They will support your steps and give you even more time to find yourself. Others are what I would consider a little bit more motivating, and so they're going to light a fire under you. They're going to demand a plan, and they're going to support the reality that you're now a college graduate, and it's time for you to pay up for the last 20 years of support they've provided. Turn around and look at them. Those that are nodding their head and clapping, that's the people that I'm talking about. There they are. Over the next couple of celebratory dinners, congratulatory phone calls, and text messages, there will be people who will ask you, so what's next? And they're the people that remind us that this is only the beginning for you, and it's time for you to tackle your next goal. If you don't have answers to what's next, no worries. You do have time to figure out what you're going to tell them. You have roughly to the end of this speech. And remember, I'm going to be brief. So what have I learned about time that's usable advice to you and short? In the last 18 years, since I've graduated, one thing stands out to me, and that's that time flies. Time is a quiet constant, never says a word. It keeps going. It doesn't stop because you're not ready or because you don't feel like it. It keeps going when you're making memories, when you experience disappointment, and even today during this commencement ceremony, time keeps going. Time has one job, and that's to keep moving. Doesn't get laid off, never gets fired. Time doesn't have friends. It doesn't have enemies either. It doesn't mind being with you, or it can stand alone. It can be your greatest ally or your biggest opposition. And sometimes 5 minutes of time can actually be both in the same day. Has anyone ever hit the snooze button? Okay, so I know it's not just me. So back to what I've learned since I've graduated or since I've entered the university. So one thing I've learned is that time is transformative. I entered University of Maryland as an 18-year-old know-it-all from West Baltimore who had dreams of becoming a lawyer. I was an underrepresented student from an underserved community. I had attended under-resourced public schools, and thus I was deemed by some to be underprepared for college study. And if you are thinking anything like I thought, I said, wow, that's a lot of under, but I'm going to talk about that a little later. I had few friends when I arrived here, but that actually changed a lot over time. During my time at Maryland, I was in the College Park Scholars Program, specifically Advocates for Children, and I participated in a number of activities that helped to improve the lives of children in this very community and beyond. And in the classroom, where I spent a lot of time, I made connections and established friendships with students from all over the country, really all over the world. It was very scary. I had a lot of time to think, particularly when I was walking from Cumberland and all of my classes were closer to South Campus. And as a communication major, I had really cool classes with faculty like Trevor Perry-Giles. In those classes, I started to see myself, understand where I fit in, what would be my purpose in larger conversations and even the world. And I spent a little bit of time, just a little bit, engaging in what I consider very meaningful experiences and robust dialogue with my peers in outstanding dining facilities like South Campus Dining Hall, McKeldin Library, back to the Knox Road. I'm going to stop there because those stories are going to take up way more time. But my point is that while I was here at Maryland, it changed me. It transformed me. And I started out marked by many socially constructed terms that began with under, but I ultimately came out on top. I learned that if you give in to time, allow yourself to embrace those challenges, being in new spaces with new people, you can come out on top regardless of where you started. This will happen throughout your lives, graduates. As you embark on the next leg of your journey, I encourage you to actively seek out and embrace the new experiences. Take advantage of those resources, make connections with others, and establish yourself knowing that you walk with a purpose that's bigger than you. It's actually bigger than all of us. That mindset changed who I was. I was not the same person that I was when I entered this university, and I suspect the same is true for many of you today. Another concept that I learned about time is that time allows detours. I graduated from the University of Maryland armed with my degree in communication, and I immediately secured employment, just like they said, doing exactly what I thought I would be doing when I left here, and that was monitoring police scanners and running down leads for breaking news. I was an assignment desk editor for 2 Baltimore television news operations, and I loved my job. It was fast-paced, it was exciting. Every day, I could see tangible results in real time in terms of my contribution. There's no better reward than seeing your work broadcast on televisions across your hometown. But yet and still, I thought I could be doing more with my time. I wanted more professionally, at least I thought I did. And I'll be honest with you, I still wasn't quite sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. So while working at the station, I decided to pursue a master's degree. And I remember someone asking me, how are you going to manage your time now? Graduate school and a full-time job in television news, that's a lot. But I figured, I'm young, I've got time, I'm a Terp, I got this. Time was on my side until it wasn't. Very quickly, I learned that television news and graduate study, they didn't work well together, at least not for me. And I was at a crossroads. Completing my degree would require that I suspend my career in television news. And ultimately, that's what I decided. The consequences of my decision ultimately led me down a different career path, and that was higher education. And though I don't have time to give you the entire story, just know that it required me taking the time to be introspective. I felt at that time I was taking a step back, but I really wasn't. It was a leap forward, and I was standing on the shoulders of time. It was shaky, but there I was. I want you to know that you can deviate from your plan. Some of you may have the non-planned plan, and some of you may have the plan that's all planned out. If you deviate, you can still come out on top. You may take a different path to your destination, but that doesn't preclude you from arriving, and it doesn't stop you from arriving on time. Don't be afraid of change. Sometimes it results in something perfect that was part of the plan anyway. The last tip that I'll leave for you that I've learned about time is that time is limited, so don't waste it making excuses. Let me fast forward this story to the law school chapter. You'll recall that when I entered University of Maryland, I'd had dreams of becoming a lawyer. And truth be told, when I entered kindergarten, I'd had dreams of becoming a lawyer. At this point in my life, I had enjoyed success in television news and now in higher education in both administrative and teaching roles. I was conducting original research. I was writing and collaborating with incredible scholar practitioners. I was presenting and speaking before national audiences. And though I could see the utility of a law degree and what it would afford for my professional career, I just wasn't thinking about law school. At that point, it was a lifelong dream, but it was too late. I had simply run out of time. Plus, I thought I was way too old to try and prepare for the LSAT. I didn't have a pre-law background, and what if I didn't get in? And even if I did, how would I pay for it? Law school was expensive. And I had just started dating this guy, and if I started law school, I wouldn't have time for that relationship. What about my friends? So there were just myriad reasons that I said, this is sounding like a hard no. That ship had sailed. So that guy I was dating, I shared my thoughts with him. And I thought he would understand my anxiety and maybe offer some support, because we were fresh in the relationship. But instead, he told me that I was making a bunch of excuses, that if it's something I wanted to do, stop wasting time complaining and go for it. The next LSAT was coming up soon, and I didn't have much time. But I didn't appreciate that criticism, that I was making excuses. So I stopped complaining, and I went for it. And I want you to do the same. If and when the time comes that you begin to doubt yourself, that you begin to give all the reasons of why it can't happen, and you think you've run out of time, I want you to go for it anyway. That guy, we eventually married in my second year of law school, and now we have two beautiful children. And so, like I said, sometimes a change in plans, it results in the perfect answer anyway. Class of 2019, use your time to affect and participate in transformative change, especially of yourselves. Remember, time does allow for detours. Our journeys will be marked by difference, and that's okay. Your time is limited, so don't make excuses. Do not waste time and effort investing into what you think cannot be. Rather, pour into what can be, what must be. Step out of your comfort zone, accept the criticism, and move unapologetically, full speed ahead, and keep moving. In closing, I'll leave you with this. James Baldwin said, "There is never time in the future in which we will work out our salvation. The challenge is in the moment. The time is always now." Congratulations, class of 2019. This is your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boykin, for that very meaningful message. We are so appreciative of you being here with us today.
Thank you.
Certificate of our appreciation. Thank you so much. So now we're to the point where we're going to start conferring degrees. We will start with our PhD degrees before we transition to the Bachelor of Arts degrees. I'd like to invite Dr. Christy Maddox to the podium. She's our co-grad director of our graduate program. So she will introduce the PhD program. Christy.
In the Department of Communication, we confer not only the Bachelor of Arts degree, but also a master's degree in communication, an MPS degree in interpreting and translation, and the Doctor of Philosophy degree. Alumni of our nationally ranked graduate program are among the leaders in research, teaching, and practice of communication, arts, and sciences across the nation and throughout the world. Our graduate students hold research and teaching positions both nationally and internationally. Today, I'm most pleased to award the Doctor of Philosophy degrees in communication. And to start that, I'll call Brooke Liu up.
Good morning. I'd like to call Dr. Vivian V. Angelis to the podium. Dr. Angeles received a BA in English from Stanford University and an MS in Public Relations from the University of Stirling. Dr. Angeles' dissertation was titled, "We Band of Brothers, a social identity-based study of military public affairs, professional identity, organizational socialization, and collaboration." Before I head Dr. Angeles, and in the spirit of being brief, let me share just a few highlights from this excellent dissertation. Today, the business management community is looking to the military for lessons in organizational success. This trend includes the search for lessons in public relations or the organizational function that manages communication and builds relationships between top management and the groups that are most important to its success. Yet military public relations, also known as military public affairs, has been under-researched, and therefore the applicability of its lessons to the broader community remains an open question. To begin to fill this gap, Dr. Angeles, a former military public affairs officer, conducted an interview-based study of military public affairs and its relationships and contributions to the organization. Dr. Angeles' study focused on public affairs staff and their functions to serve and move information between organizations' leadership and important groups outside of the organization. The study found that public affairs managers are encouraged or socialized to demonstrate their value to their organizations through proactivity, which generates risk, even though military organizations are geared towards minimizing risk. And the study also found that public affairs function is often poorly understood by commanders and other leaders. But when organizations face unfamiliar challenges, or when the public affairs activity is clearly seen, the benefit to the organization becomes more attractive. Through this dissertation, Dr. Angeles builds greater understanding of military public affairs and how it can build equitable relationships between organizations and the groups around them. Currently, Dr. Angeles is an assistant professor of public relations at Cal State University. And now for the official heading. In recognition of the successful completion of the requisite course of study and on nomination of the faculty of the graduate program in communication, the University of Maryland confers on Vivian V. Angeles the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all honors, rights, and privileges thereto pertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Angeles.
I'd like to invite Dr. Lou Capizzo to the stage, please. Dr. Lou Capizzo, in May 2007, earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Theory and Constitutional Democracy and Professional Writing from Michigan State University. In May 2018, he earned a Master of Arts in Communication here at the University of Maryland. His dissertation was entitled Managing Intractability, Wrestling with Wicked Problems and Seeing Beyond Consensus in Public Relations. Luke is currently an assistant professor at James Madison University, and his dissertation wrestled with an important issue in contemporary public relations practice, namely managing so-called intractable or wicked problems, irrevocable, difficult to solve, often value-driven conflicts. Yet such problems and how to manage them are not often considered in leading public relations theories, which are most times aimed at building consensus and positive relationships. This dissertation builds on existing literature, carving out a place for dissensus-oriented perspectives or agonistic public relations practices. Through interviews with dozens of public relations practitioners facing intractable scenarios and the integration of dissensual and agonistic perspectives, this dissertation examined and forwards the role and impact of wicked problems in current public relations practice. Luke was an invaluable instructor in the public relations track during his time at the University of Maryland. He was an engaged, positive student in the classroom. He managed to write not one, but 2 textbooks during his time at the University of Maryland that are being used in undergraduate courses at universities around the country. He earned a top student paper award from the Public Relations Division of the National Communication Association. He is also one of the nicest people you will ever meet. Luke is the reason I do what I do. Students like Luke are the reason I do what I do, and I'm lucky to have been his advisor and to now call him my friend. In recognition of the successful completion of the requisite course of study and on nomination of the faculty of the graduate program in communication, the University of Maryland confers on Dr. Luke Capizzo the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining. Oh, Luke.
And that concludes the conferral of graduate degrees.
And now we'll begin the commencement of our Bachelor of Arts degrees. So I'd like to introduce or bring back to the podium Dr. Leah Wax, who's the director of our undergraduate studies program.
Hi again. Will all Bachelor of Art candidates please rise? And I'm going to make the official statement. In recognition of the successful completion of the requisite course of study and on nomination of the faculty of the Department of Communication within the College of Arts and Humanities, the University of Maryland hereby confers upon the following candidates the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining. Now, please be seated, and I will now present to each of you a memento of today's event. So please be seated, and Carlin will help you get on the stage.
Miranda Morris. Dongyang Tang. Jishan Yu. Yiming Gu. Rachel Eve Newman. Reese Milner. Brenda Amaya. Carly Tomes. Jennifer Searles. Magda Amdetson. Andrea Hidalgo. David Reichard. Gabriella Joy Jones. Cameron Bender. Helen Cabetta. Andrew Snyder. Duber. Garrett Waller. Austin Bierman. Anne-Marie Demi. Missy Ferrante. Allison Keys. Melissa Antar. Lawrence Yansunu. Jennifer Fletcher. Maybe Sangbong. Erica Hefner. Sumaira Ahmed. Bida Riazi. Pahincha Somersur. Putri Surya. Adrian Campos. Aurelia Wright. Rachel Akusa. George Vargas. Max Soto. Jordan Cooper. Kirk Brown. Chaz Diasen. Keaton Paradises. Brian Plummer. Shiley Bruck. Kelly Chow. Janady Laura. Solomon Sewell. Quan Brooks. Madeline Jones. Kayla Little. Rashid Welch. Brittany Bridges. Rihanna Ali. Minna Polly. Anthony Cowan Jr. Chao Tran. Zach Brannon. Matthew Gilpin. Chris Wright. Melanie Almeida Lopez. Avery Montasser. Andrew Hopkins. Kevin Shannon.
Will all Bachelor of Arts recipients please rise? And please move your tassel to the left. And I now present to you the Winter 2019 University of Maryland Department of Communication Bachelor of Arts graduates. Congratulations. Please be seated. Thanks. On behalf of the faculty and staff in the Department of Communication, we thank you all for coming to celebrate this very special event. Dr. Boykin, thank you very much for your very exciting speech. Miranda, for your contribution to the University of Maryland and the department, thank you very much. And Bira Riazi for delivering a very powerful main commencement speech last night. Congratulations. So I have a question to the graduates. Is the tassel worth the hassle? It sure is. This is a great day, a day to recognize your accomplishments in public, a day when parents, faculty, and graduates are all united in sharing the wish that the habits that we taught will improve and that the occupations that you choose to pursue will create a life that is dignified and useful. You are now at the commencement of your next chapter. The exit doors are all around you, and you will very shortly rush out of here feeling free at last and holding one of the most desirable degrees that will now allow you to do anything you would like to do in very electrifying industries such as technology, business, politics, science, and more. As strong communicators, you will be the difference between industries that are winning and those that are losing. Some of you know what your tomorrows will bring. Others will exit yet with countless questions and unknowns and uncertainties about tomorrow. Embrace the unknown and the comforts that are associated with it. Follow your passions, dare to take risks, and do not shy away from challenges. You may encounter highs and lows, but if you persist, it is highly likely that your aspirations may come to be real and gratifying. So we in the Department of Communication wish you all the best in your new experiences and ask that you make an effort to stay in touch. We would like to know what your tomorrows look like. And on a final note, many people helped make this Winter 2019 commencement celebration a very festive event, and we thank them all. Thank you very much. We wish you all a happy holiday season and a great and productive new year. Please remain seated until the faculty and the graduates have exited the hall. Thank you very much for coming. Congratulations, and have a happy holiday season. Thanks.